Excuse me. So if we're ready, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Notice of this meeting was given by sending sufficient notice herewith to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Jersey Journal, filing advance written notice of this meeting with the clerk administrator.
Recording in progress.
Oh, did I get ahead of myself?
Nope, go ahead.
Right, filing advance written notice of this meeting with the clerk administrator member and posting a copy of the meeting notice in the public bulletin board of all members. I direct the secretary to enter into the minutes of this meeting the advance written notice of this meeting in the statement. Thank you. So welcome to all. At this point, I ask Glenn for a roll call.
Hi, it's Leon.
That's you, Leon, on the 9994.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
me.
Leon.
Commissioner Blino,
Here.
Commissioner Delgado,
Here.
Commissioner Julis,
Here.
Commissioner Zanga,
Here.
Commissioner Heck. I didn't see him come in, correct? Four out of five, Chair.
And have you identified everybody that may be on the call?
NIL is
Okay, come on.
if I may ask, who is 9697 I just let in?
Good afternoon, Charlie Cradaville.
Okay, Charlie. All right, Chair.
All right, so any introduction of guests?
No.
Thank you. All right, so we'll go right to phone business. I ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes of October 24, 2024, the open meeting minutes, as well as the closed meeting minutes for the same day. Do I have a motion?
Motion, Frank?
Second, Joe.
Commissioner Blino,
Yes.
Commissioner Julis. Yes. Commissioner Zanga,
Yes.
Chairman Delgado.
Yes. So moving right along to the report section of the agenda, Executive Director Barbara.
Good afternoon. Most of our report is going to be addressed under new business as well as closed session. However, I did want to reference that we have put in a tentative 2025 meeting schedule for the year. Take a look at it. Let us know if any of those dates conflict with anything that you may have that we are not considering. As we get closer, we will decide if we're going to do any in person, and there will be no formal action on this until the January rework.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. The administrator report, Glenn, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, circulated in the packet were the historical loss information reports. Auto physical damage, 2024, 201,000, 2023, 166,000. Auto liability claims, 149,000, 2023, 46,370. General liability, 2024, you got 423,000, 2023, 550,954. On the property damage claims for 2024, 74,840, 2023, 84,748. On workers' comp, 2024, we're holding at 435,000, and in 2023, 1,556,426 for 2023. The other years are there for your review. No update with respects to the deficit collection other than that will be discussed in closed session, sure.
Is Joe here with us today?
Joe could not make it today. He did circulate his report which was circulated and also provided in the packets as requested by the auditors, that the board address was the corrective action plan as a result of the 2022 audit.
Okay. So I'll take that as a report from Joe. I did see the paperwork and the facts, so I thank you, Glenn. Anything
Yeah,
else
we're
from you?
good.
Okay, so we'll move right along to safety and loss control. Mr. Gate.
Good afternoon, everyone. We conducted the lockout tagout training sessions at the city of New Brunswick, and that is the only activity that we provided to the JIF during the month of October. We included in the report OSHA safety and health fact sheets for fall prevention and trenching safety, which were listed as accidents and in the JIF record of accidents for the last couple of months. That should help people, especially considering the climate that we're headed into. That concludes my report unless someone has any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Gate? I see none. We'll move right along to managed care. Nicole?
Everyone, your savings and penetration report begins on 17 of your agenda packet. Qualcare for the month of October had repriced 136 bills with a network utilization rate of 99%. Total charges are reflected at $228,447.84, with the allowable charges being noted at $75,889.14. This equates to a total savings of $152,558 $70, or about 66% savings. The intakes for the month had gone up and are set at 43, with 37 requiring additional medical intervention and 6 remaining as report only. I believe that is it for my report today. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
Moving on to member communications, Mr. Jaffe.
Hello, Chairman. Thank you, everybody. So a main focus over the past month, what I had mentioned was that we are now putting up industry news up on the website, state and federal, OSHA and the Department of Labor. The key reason for that is that besides postings of agendas and minutes and all the other requirements, it's important to put other information up there so that the site is fresh and it's for search engine optimization. We're also going to be looking at a couple of feature stories that we'd like to do toward the end of the year. I have some ideas that I'll submit. Generally speaking, I think that is it. I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Jaffe. Now moving to old business. Any old business to consider or discussed?
No.
Okay, I'll take that as a no. Moving on to new business. There's a motion to introduce the Middlesex County, the Middlesex County Municipal Joint Insurance Form to 2025 year budget and certify the assessment. I think you all saw it in your package. As a matter of process, would take a motion and a vote.
This is for clarification. This is to introduce the budget so that we can discuss it, correct?
Correct.
Motion.
Second, Frank.
Right, so discussion.
Okay, the 2025 budget introduction totals $10,286,615. The budget is made up of 3 sections. You have your loss funds, your excess costs, and then your administrative costs. Loss funds are those dollars set aside to pay claims within our self-insured retentions. And for the 2025 year, 2025 fund year, they are anticipated to be $3,954,060. One of the things that I took a look at, in addition to what the actuary had provided, is what our 5, 7, and 10 year loss dollars look like for the 5 members that are currently in the fund. And those loss funds appear to be right in our wheelhouse. When you take a look at 7 and 10 years, we trend better than we do in the most recent 5. And a lot of that has to do with Sandy having a much larger impact in a shorter number of years rather than spreading it out over 7 and 10. Going on to the excess cost section of the budget, that totals $4,265,522. And that is carrier costs. So that is the money that we pay to the carriers for coverage above our self-insured retention. The final section of the budget is the administrative cost, and those costs total $1,656,937 net of RMC fees. Those are for the RFPs that were received. Those numbers are reflected in this. We will discuss the responses to the RFPs shortly. So this is basically a list of the administrative expenses. The loss funds make up 38.4% of the budget. Excess costs make up 41.5% of the budget, and then the balance is roughly 16.5% for the administrative costs, including the RMC fees. So that is the 2025 budget. We are, I don't know if anybody has any questions so far.
We're just gonna, yeah, any questions? Go ahead, Barb.
One of the things that we're also working on is how does this compare to the 2024 budget, as well as the revised 2024 revision number 1. The comparing it to the budget introduction, we are 11.34% higher than budget revision number 1 for 2024. We will actually introduce that at our next meeting. We are significantly higher than our introduction to the budget. One of the things that we have to do from 2024 to the revision for 2024 is to remove Milltown that did not renew. One of the things that we will work on is the allocation of the 10,286,615 for the individual assessments to the members.
Any questions so far? Okay. Maybe does that conclude your narrative about the
Yes, for now, I
budget?
think I think once we go through the RFP responses, we'll see if there are any changes to the actual administrative section of the budget, which will then could change the budget total.
All right. Right, so there's no need to take a vote at this point. You simply open it up for discussion.
Yeah, well, we can introduce this budget, but there's a good possibility that there will be a revision number 1, which then we can introduce and then again adopt.
At the next meeting in December.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, so there are no questions from Ms. Murphy. So at this point, I will move on to public comment. Simply, let me just read a short statement. The Middlesex County Municipal Joint Insurance Fund recognizes the value of public comment on issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on matters of community interest. In order to permit the fair and orderly expression of such comment and consistence with the Open Public Meetings Act, the fund shall provide a period for public comment at every regularly scheduled and advertised meeting of the fund and fund board of commissioners. The meeting is being held by virtual means. The opportunity for public comment will be provided to virtual means as determined by the chairperson. The portion of the meeting during which the participation of the public is invited shall be limited to 3 minutes per individual. At the discretion of the chair, the 3-minute period for public comment may be extended. Individuals engaging in public comments will only have one opportunity during the meeting to publicly comment. At this point, do we have any members of the public that would like to address the commissioners?
Yes, sir. Charlie Cradville, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. A few questions. First, when is your next meeting? Are you doing the 18th December?
Next meeting is, yes, December 18th,
Okay. And that'll be virtual or in person?
virtual.
I'd like to hear more about the corrective action plan. Can you tell me what that's about? What items are in it?
Does, Ms. Murphy, would you like to address that issue? I think I lost Ms. Murphy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's actually Joe provided a written corrective action plan. This was based on the 2022 audit, which was adopted a few months ago. And you'll see most of it is related to making sure that there are processes and procedures in place to confirm, double check some things and making sure that all bank recs are completed. There were 7 recommendations and all are either corrected or will be corrected by the end of the first quarter. There's only one item that was open and not taken care of in 2023. So again, the 22 audit kind of hung out and was a little bit stale by the time it actually got finalized. So his report satisfies the auditors and closes that out in total.
Thank you, Ms. Murphy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is that going to be available on the website?
Yeah, we can definitely add it with the audit.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. You know, I do have to address the JIF leaders sent me a recording of Ms. Murphy and Mr. Kurtz speaking rather freely, overwhelmingly about JIF business. And yeah, I certainly didn't appreciate the way I was discussed in that call, but setting that aside, there was some more concerning stuff in that recording. And I'd like you to elaborate, if you can, on what you meant when you said things like, quote, the ship is going down. You also discussed fund dissolution and said, quote, we can't do that. We're missing the cash. We're doing what's called bankruptcy. If we get to that point, in all seriousness, it's a bankruptcy. And that stuff sounds like really serious fund business. And I'd like to understand what the context of those comments was. Can you tell me any more about the possibility of fund dissolution and or bankruptcy for the JIF?
Charlie, sorry?
Through the chairman, please.
Yes.
I believe that Mr. Cradaville had sent an email, I believe I was copied on, where he may have asked some of these questions. And in my recollection, the JIF provided a written response to Mr. Cradaville. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd be curious if Mr. Cradaville did see that response, and I'm sure that Mr. Jaffe would be glad to read it in public record if you'd like.
I'm happy to answer that. I did receive a response from Mr. Jaffe. It was woefully deficient and really misleading. It said that, you know, it was disappointing that I posted the conversation on YouTube. It referred to it as a pointless stunt. It said it was juvenile. It said it was cruel for me to do that.
Why not allow Mr. Jaffe just to state it and to fill out the conversation? Yeah. Is that okay?
That's no. I just told you what it says. If he wants to speak after me, he can. But my point is that the statement did not address in any way fund dissolution, bankruptcy, or the comments that were essentially complaining about me and saying that you, quote, constantly answer the dude and accused me of spreading BS. You know, I don't think that was an appropriate or fair response
Charlie,
to the content
Mr.
of that
Cradaville,
call.
Charlie, your time is up. And I actually
Okay.
gave you 3 minutes, so, but I appreciate your comments, okay?
I'd appreciate a response. Thank you.
All right. So I believe that we stand by the response that you received in writing, so there would be no further discussion in this section of public comment.
Chairman, not to belabor the point, but Mr. Cradaville's representation of the comments are his. Maybe allow Mr. Jaffe to read it into record if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, happy to do so.
Go ahead.
We had sent Mr. Credible November 4th at 4:50 a quote in response said, "It is disappointing that a member of the public would post a portion of a private casual conversation on YouTube. Such a pointless stunt was juvenile, confusing to the viewer, and cruel to all involved." And it was decided that that would be our only comment regarding Mr. Cradiville's inquiry.
And Mr. Chairman, just to make sure that Mr. Credible has all the information he needs, through you to our executive director, are our financials not posted by the requirements of the law on the website that show our position as a JIF, Ms. Murphy?
Correct.
Okay, so I think Mr. Cradiville's questions could be answered by reviewing those documents, and whatever assertions he wants to make, he should make that based on what's published. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Julius. Duly noted.
Just want to say happy Thanksgiving. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Charlie. Any other member of the public would like to address this body? Okay, hearing none, I'll accept the motion now to go into closed session as required for claims, potential litigations, and contractual matters. Motion, please.
Motion, Joe.
Second, Frank.
Glenn, do you need us?
No, you can step off.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you.
Motion
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Joe, second was Frank.
Yes.
Commissioner Bellino,
Yes.
Commissioner Drulis,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanga,
Yes.
Chairman Delgado.
Yes.
Going to close at 12:20.
Make sure that you check the board. And only those that are required to stay do stay.
And Glenn, everybody's still in thumbnail, so you're still sharing your screen even though there's no document up on there.
Yeah.
Get my other page.
Recording in progress.
Picture.
You're
Has
gonna take this
everybody
off
been
the screen?
allowed-
Thank you. All right, at this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to return to open session.
This is, I am the
Motion.
least informed and knowledgeable person
Second.
about this subject.
All right,
So.
Jeff Glenn.
You already returned to open, so now you gotta take action.
So so we'll entertain it. I'll take the motion for the approval, payment, authorization, and other action established in closed session.
Motion, Frank?
Thank you, Frank.
Second, Joe.
All right, Glenn.
Commissioner Bellino,
Yes.
Commissioner Drulis,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanga,
Yes.
Commissioner Delgado.
Yes, and before I accept the motion to adjourn, I'd like to remind everybody that the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, December 18, 2024 at 12 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Bellino,
Yes.
Commissioner Drulis,
Yes.
Commissioner Zanga,
Yes.
Commissioner Delgado.
Yes.
Chairman Delgado.